A lot of people go through life wondering what their purpose is. A lot of people wonder, what is the meaning of life? Why am I here? Why did God put me here? Myself included. And I've been on a journey to find out what is my purpose in life. Um, and I've always felt like, well, for one, I always felt like there would be this big revelation of what my purpose is in life. I would receive a prophetic word, or there'd be some big dream, and I would wake up and be like, oh, that's what my purpose is. Or I just felt it would be something supernatural, maybe. Um, and then I've also always felt that I do have a purpose in my life and I'm called to something greater, but that greater was just always just beyond my reach or just out of my reach. And so I think all of my life I've been on a journey to find out what my purpose is and why I'm here. But I think recently I've really began to hone in on it and kind of focus and narrow down and put in the work to determine what my purpose is in life, and realizing that I have to look within. I have to take an inventory of myself. I have to seek God, be quiet, listen, and really hear what He has to say, because I believe that God puts in each of us a passion, a desire, something that we really seek and we really want. But it's not necessarily something that, well, for some people maybe, but it's not necessarily something that is obvious to you. Sometimes it's something that you just have to be quiet and really reflect and meditate and find out what it is. So this morning I was thinking about, what's the purpose of life? What's the meaning of life? Why are we here in general? And I feel that we're here for relationships, and we're here for love. I think the meaning of life is relationship and love. I think God put us here so that He can have a relationship with us. And I think He put us here so that we can have relationship with others. And honestly, I think the most important relationship is our relationship with God. But I think another equally important relationship, and one of the first relationships that we begin to develop, is our relationship with our family. So I've really been thinking about my relationship with my mom, my dad, my siblings, because the family unit is where we first begin to relate. It's how we learn how to be in relationship, and how, what it means to relate with another person. So it's so important to, when exploring your purpose, just to look at how you came into this world, how you began to have certain thoughts about people, and your meaning, like your value and your worth. All of that starts with your family. And I know for me, I went through a stage where um, I wanted to blame my family, and I went through a stage where I wanted to blame my parents for um, for what I thought were my uh, inadequacies, or just the things that I feel like I lacked in life. And I think it had a lot to do with me and my own insecurities, and just not being satisfied with who I was. And instead of taking responsibility for the choices that I've made and the different things in my life that led to who I am right now, I was looking for someone to blame. And that's just something that I like to do. I like to be able to point the finger to others and to be in the victim space. The victim space is one of my favorite space. I love to be in the woe is me. It's not my fault. It's because of what other people did. My parents weren't perfect. They didn't give me everything that I felt that I deserved and needed in life. And so now my life is not everything I want it to be because of them. And that was a space that I was in, and it was a space where I didn't have to take ownership. Like I was able to say, this isn't my fault. I'm not this way because of me. I'm this way because of my parents. I don't like who I am because of my parents, because they weren't good role models, because they didn't show me the way. And maybe that's part of it. But I was also thinking, okay, when are you going to move from that place of woe is me, my life is a mess, I didn't get all of the privileges and things that would have made me a better person when I was a child. So that's why my life is a mess. When am I going to move past that and start to make better choices? Like, okay, you can be in that for a minute. You can blame your parents for a minute, but then you have to move on. But then you have to move past that and decide, now what? So because my parents were imperfect, does that mean I'm going to maintain this mindset that I'm not responsible for anything that's happened in my life? No. Um, so instead, being on this journey of self exploration and self development, and just really being open, honest, genuine, and vulnerable with myself. Self reflection, self exploration, and self responsibility. Realizing that I have to take responsibility for who I am and where I am now in my life, and getting out of the victim role. Because that victim role, you can stay in that victim role all day and you can just feel good about yourself because it's everybody else's fault. People are doing this to me. Society is doing this to me. My parents are doing this to me. I have no ownership because I'm the victim. And that's a place where you can get stuck in there. You can get stuck in that space. And so maybe for a minute, you can be a victim. And you can accept that and you can experience what that means, what your circumstances meant to you to get you to that place, right? Be a victim, wallow in that. But then you have to make the decision. Then you have to decide to pick up the pieces and move on. Pick up the pieces and move on. Yes, you have been dealt some cards and some hands that were less than favorable. Yes, that sucks. Yes, that's horrible. That's horrible. But that's not the determining role. The victim role, the things that happen to you, Your situations and your circumstances, they don't have the final say. They have a say, but it's not the final say. You have the final say. You have the final say in what your life becomes.